Nathan Davis, welcome to the show.
Thanks for
Skateboarder, commercial filmmaker, editor, just all around kind of creative dude, cool guy.
yeah.
Maybe we touch on some history because you and I are both local kids,
Mhm.
right? We're in Dallas, Texas. You grew up here?
Yeah, I grew up in, East Dallas, kinda over off of, like, Greenville Avenue and Mockingbird. I'm originally from Chicago, but raised here, and so, yeah, always loved Dallas and stayed here my whole life I don't know if we're leaving. It's a pretty cool spot, so
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
What brought your family from Chicago to here?
Military brat type of thing, mom being from Chicago, she ended up, single mom, or they got divorced quick, my dad and her, and then so she brought me down here. Her aunt, my great aunt, was down here, and so it was a way to start fresh and new city, and kind of this life change for her. We're having me, and wanting to start new, and so that's what brought her down here, and let's be honest, Chicago winters are rough,
Yeah.
so it's a little bit more tolerable down here, so
Yeah, no
yeah.
kidding, especially during the winter.
Yeah, exactly.
However, our summers are
Brutal.
brutal.
I don't think they were as brutal growing up, though, when I try and reflect on it, but maybe they were, I don't know.
Yeah, or maybe we were just more resilient then.
Exactly, like, we didn't care, like,
Yeah.
sun's out,
Didn't
whatever,
matter.
I'm
Yeah.
running around.
Speaking of which, so, I know only a little bit of your history with skateboarding,
Mhm.
and how skateboarding carries you into, your career path today, which
Yeah.
is kind of commercial filmmaking and in particular for the Dallas Mavs.
Mhm.
Um, so if you could just kind of rewind and tell me, when did you first come in contact with skateboarding and what was it about skateboarding that touched you?
Here we go, right? Like, okay, so skating, I mean, I think I got my first board, even though I got it when I was really little, like maybe 3rd grade. Like,
Mm,
I had, like, this Christian Hosoi, that was the Tony Hawk Hosoi rivalry, and I was little, I didn't understand any of that until later, but I had, the big fishtail back end. It was really heavy for some little kid, but I got really into it, and it was like my favorite mode of transportation. I didn't really ride a I mean, I, had a bike, but I always preferred the skateboard, but I didn't think anything of it. Like, I just kind of rode it around. I remember, I don't know if you remember this old '80s movie, Gleaming the Cube, with Christian
absolutely,
Slater.
Christian Slater.
Oh, man, okay, so there's a scene in there that he rides off the curb, and he ollies up a curb, and he's, like, going into, like, a warehouse or something like that.
Yeah.
When he rode off and he ollied up the curb, thought that was the coolest looking thing I've ever seen as a kid. I was like, "What just happened?" Right? And witnessing the first ollie, like, it blew my mind. And so, all I did as a little kid, but again, I'm tiny, I'm the size of the board, but I would roll up to the curb and just like, "Bop, bop," real quick, and I could almost ollie up a curb. Just I understood the motion, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, fast forward to, like, 7th grade, and ran it met some 7th grade is where this elementary school meets with this elementary school, and
That's right.
so I met, like, a whole new crew of friends, and they skated, or they at least had skateboards, but the boards were smaller, thinner, twin tail, like, on each side,
Yep.
and I could instantly ollie because I knew that all came rushing back, like, the whole motion of it. So, I instantly knew how to ollie, and so I was the rest is history. Pivotal moment, like, changed who I am, and started molding me into everything I am today. Skated nonstop all the way through college, worked at a skate shop, rode for that skate shop. Still skate to this day. I'm early 40s, and I'm still rolling I think I'll probably roll till I can't walk, but it's just one of those things that it's a part of who I am at my core. I'll skate to a lunch spot at work. I'm I'm the guy walking through the office with a board, and so it's just, yeah, it really ingrained in me who I am, yeah.
Yeah.
So, the style, the culture, because once you then it at that pivotal age when you're 7th grade, going into high school and stuff,
Mhm.
you're looking for, trying to find your identity.
Yeah, sure.
I already had mine. I didn't even have to look for it. Was this. It was So I'm obsessing over videos, magazines, the style. Like there was East Coast skating and West Coast skating, and skating at the time in the early '90s was it was coming out of the '80s, but it was kind of a counterculture kinda thing, like,
Mhm.
it wasn't socially accepted, like, it was and not that I was doing it to be rebellious or anything, but because I loved it ever since I was little, but it wasn't kind of what it is today. It wasn't an Olympic sport. It wasn't, as
Right.
mainstream as it kinda has become, which is totally fine and not against it and, more to it. If anything, I would hope that there's more money funneling into what this is because it was not sustainable with its old model. I know some
Right.
core skateboarder wish it would have stayed that way in counterculture and all that kind of stuff, but there's a reason the shop that I rode for isn't around. There's a reason the Deep Ellum shop innovations or Chrome skate shop that was outside Fair Park, those don't exist anymore. They didn't even last like 3 years or
Sure.
whatever.
Right.
They're gone. And so I appreciate where it is today. But there was this camaraderie that started when you were younger. I mean, the ability to just roll down a street and your spidey sense would tingle if you heard a board coming down or you're rolling down,
Yeah.
and you'd run outside to meet whoever else is on this thing that you love so much. It was just this instant bond that you had. I spent my summers in Chicago. So, like, again, single mom, I'm not in school to kind of like, send me up to go stay with grandpa, grandma, aunts, uncles. Like, they would send me up there. And I just remember didn't know anybody.
Yeah.
Didn't but, like, some of them had to go to work, they couldn't stay with me all the time, so I'd just go skate around,
Good
and
city to skate in.
yeah, endless, endless. Yeah, I have discovered, though, like, living down here and skating down here is better in the sense of there's such harsh winters up there that they really beat up the concrete. It like,
Mm.
you'll skate something, and then 2 or 3 winters later, it's unskateable because the concrete, the roll up, it's battered, it's just rough and
Right.
gritty and, you can fight through it, but it's just not that way.
Not as enjoyable.
Yeah, exactly. And so anyway, but yeah, so again, it found my identity and it instantly told me who I was and instantly made my group of friends, and I still talk to and skate with them today, and it's pretty surreal when you think about, how long I've been skating, how long I've been friends with these guys, and it all is rooted in skating, so it's pretty crazy.
And when you think back to that time, because it's something that that stuck with you and that immediately kind of, attached your sense of being to it,
Mhm.
what's that feeling you get when you're on the board and you are just cruising or you just landed a sick trick?
Mhm.
Just what's that feeling that's running through your veins?
That's what keeps you going, right? It is the feeling. It is it taught me life lessons.
Mm.
Um, Skating I have a term that I say at work, and I think I heard it somewhere. Maybe I didn't. Maybe I heard it in my head. I don't know. But I use the term fail forward
Mm.
a lot because skating instantly teaches you you're gonna like bust your ass a bunch trying to learn something. You don't
Mhm.
instantly know how to kickflip.
Sure.
The first time you try, you know you're gonna fail. You're not gonna get it right. So that translates to anything we attempt to do in life. And what was great about skating is knowing that it was okay to not make it the first time, and all about progression.
Mm.
And each time you assess, why didn't I do it? What? Oh, okay, I need to jump higher. Oh, I need to move my foot over a little bit more. You're okay, and then all of a sudden you land and you step off, and then you land and you roll like an inch, and you're like, "Oh my god, it's happening." And then it does, and it was all worth it. There's just this euphoric feeling that is I can't describe. I actually think that feeling is what keeps you going
Yeah.
and skating as long as you do. and, because it's this thing that you chase. And then what I realized later in life, or as we're, in the industry we're in,
Yeah.
it's when you're skating, there's even the threat as you get better of really getting hurt, and or getting hurt to get that feeling.
Yeah.
Man, nothing else is like, you're not gonna fall at work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're not gonna physically get hurt trying to edit a video.
Yeah.
So it really takes the edge off of being scared to fail
Mm.
when you're kind of okay with it,
Yeah.
and really just attempting to go for it. Like, who cares? Like, yeah, you're gonna suck when you first try anything, no matter what it is. So, skating teaches you that, and kinda puts you in that mindset, and so and it's okay to do that. It's all about progression. That's why this our any industry has, like, interns and stuff. You gotta bust your ass a little bit
That's right.
before you can be be where you're at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the feeling of skating, the feeling of rolling, the feeling of landing that trick. It's what keeps you going, and you're always proving to yourself that you can fight through and progress and grow. And so
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I love the term "fail forward," and it's interesting that there's like a lot packed in what you said about skateboarding just then. Because one, you're learning the fail, make progress kind
Mhm,
of rhythm for yourself.
mhm,
But that piece where you're kind of talking about like, oh, maybe if I slide my foot forward a little bit here, or maybe I put a little bit more weight on my back foot,
mhm,
now we're talking about finesse.
mhm.
And that, like, physical, tangible expression of finessing the move becomes applicable then in everything in your life, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Especially as a creative person, like,
mhm.
that kind of fail, finesse, and then you realize some success or a little bit of victory, and it's incremental, right? It's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can roll off the curb now without going clunk, clunk."
Right, right, exactly.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah, no, and style becomes a major part of it. Yeah, you can do the trick, but did it look good? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, did it
sure.
look good? Like,
Yeah.
and I think
Like, you gonna put it in a video or not?
yeah, like, did you kinda teeter-totter, and, and yeah, you gotta land bolts, you gotta absorb the landing, you gotta, I don't know, you gotta have a little bit of, style to everything to make it look good, because I think that translates into other things too. It's like, yeah, you can do that, but can you do it where you make it where it looks like you didn't even try? And
Yeah.
that's where you're always trying to get to after you learn the tricks. So, yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Mastering those fundamentals and then really owning them,
Yeah.
putting your flair on them, your stamp.
Yeah, yeah, consistency, right? Like, yeah, you learned that trick, but don't just check a box. Like, you still have to do that trick every day. Don't forget to try it. Don't put it in your bag and think it's gonna be there, because skateboarding it punishes you. If you think you just have a trick, oh,
Yeah.
go and try and do it in front of people, or like, trying to impress somebody, and you just
Yeah.
eat shit, and it's just like, what is so.
Yeah, I mean, skateboarding, it's cool how skateboarding, is such a source for personal growth
Mhm,
and focus and intention. And then when the style piece comes in, I love that you brought that up because that's almost where the creativity can kind of come in because skateboarding is both like physics and creativity,
mhm,
right? It's like you're looking for style, you're looking for tricks. That's where the kind of creative aspect comes into it. How can I do this off of that thing over
mhm.
there, especially in street skating where the conditions aren't perfect for you
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah,
And then the physics of it.
yeah,
It's like you're having to do a little bit of mental math each time of like, "Oh, how fast do I need to go
yeah.
to really launch off of that thing so I
Mhm,
can get to that thing?" Or
mhm.
if I wanna get high, like, how much downward force do I need to put
Yeah,
to then spring up, It's
exactly.
it's so cool that all these things are tied
Yeah.
to skateboarding.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have the rush element, because security inside that door, and you got one try to freaking
Yeah,
get this thing,
yeah,
and, like, you better land it, and
yeah,
yeah, so you almost have to mentally checklist.
yeah.
It's funny you said that. That was another thing that, like, that, I hadn't touched on yet, but when thinking about what we were gonna talk about, um, I don't look at, like the world the same, and skateboarding shifted that.
Hmm.
And walking into your studio, like
Mhm.
the concrete outside and the manual pad and the crack right before the manual pad, and like I see these things, and I see handrails different, and I see if it's round or square. I see what the ground looks like. I went to a restaurant the other day with a buddy, and we were walking out to the parking lot, and we were talking about skating. He wasn't a skater himself,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Dude, since we've been standing here, I know that there's a 6 stair right over there with a square on top. I know there's a bench that's wooden, but it's a hard enough angle that I think you could lock in, and then there's like an 8 stair on the street side." And like I just you look at the world becomes a blank canvas,
Yeah.
and what can I do? How fast do I have to go? Exactly. Like, what tricks can I do? What do I have in my bag that I learned that I can now take to this stair set or ledge or whatever? And again, yeah, assessing what's traffic, security, you got to get it quick. You know, where filmer, what angle looks
Yeah.
best? Low, long, or whatever, and like what makes it look bigger or cool. And so you start again understanding not only their style in skating, but their style in the production side too, and filming skating, and you have a job to look cool on the board and do your thing and stylish, right? But then the filmer also has to have a similar style. And I was pretty self-aware. Like I got as far skating as I could. Like I hit a ceiling skill-wise. So I remember I was working at the shop at the time and coming to that kind of realization while I was in college and again, early 20s and,
Yeah.
and that was that turning point, of what can I how can I stay involved? I love this as much as I do. How do I stay in this industry? And what are the jobs? And again, I was at the shop, so I'm looking around and I'm like, well, I was going to I was in art school at the time, so I was like, "Somebody designed these freaking boards." In fact, like, that's Evan Hecox, and, like, so I knew even the designers that were I'm looking at, and I'm like, "Okay, maybe should I go graphic design or whatever?" And I met up with these guys, they were coming into the shop a bunch where I was working, and we just started skating at night after work or whatever,
Yeah.
and then one of my buddies, Shane Darnell, he he's actually out in LA as a skate filmer now, but he was filming our early video, and or he was we were talking about making another video, or he was, and he wanted me in it, and,
Yeah.
so I started befriending these guys, and we started skating, and man, it would just change even that window changed my life, even in skating. It's
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I don't want to do design anymore. This filming and editing stuff is insane, like, I love it." I didn't realize it unlocked something in me again,
Yeah.
and, I was a movie dork, like,
Yeah.
I
Sure.
still am to this day, like, in fact, I went to a movie last night with my wife, so I, again, fell in love with editing the same way I fell in love with skating,
Hmm.
but wait, I can do both? You mean I can edit I can do this
I can do them together?
together? This exists as a thing? Dude, it changed my life, man, and then, again, sitting with Shane, watching him edit over his shoulder,
Yeah.
changing my major instantly,
Yeah.
like,
Sure.
instantly changed. I didn't wanna design logos anymore, and, like, that skill set didn't go to waste, though, because I instantly knew I was able to bring design to video and motion graphics and stuff like that, so
Yeah.
and then fast forward uh to where I am now, basketball is the same pacing as skating. And
Yeah. High
so
tempo.
high tempo, it's in rhythm. Like, you can't have a video that's just kickflip, 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 you gotta have B-roll. You gotta have the guy high-fiving his homies after he landed a
That's right.
trick. So, it's the same where you'll have a slam dunk, you'll have a react from the bench. He runs over, he high-fives the guys, and he gets back down. It's the same camaraderie, it's that same rhythm, it's just, you know, and luckily, being from Chicago, I grew up, in the Michael Jordan era, so I
Mhm.
was obsessed with basketball too.
Yeah.
Dallas, it was just the home team and always a fan of grew up a Mavs fan indirectly unless the Bulls were in town. And then, but you were going to Mavs games and so again, it was just kind of, it went hand in hand. And
Yeah.
um, so yeah, the it's kind of, it is what it is. And that's how I learned how to edit. And that's how I changed my major to film. And yeah, it's all rooted in skating.
Yeah. I feel like those 2 worlds collide quite a lot, actually, like, filmmaking because filmmaking is always natively involved with skating, because that's how you show it,
Yeah.
and I think back to when we were young and, like, the lore of the skate videos that were being
Mhm.
passed around between, like, groups of
Yeah.
friends or, like,
Yeah.
and back then, to date both of us, that's a VHS that's being handed to
Yeah.
you, that
Uh-huh.
was also probably just converted from whatever media you shot it in, which
Exactly.
is like mini DV tape or some shit.
Exactly.
So it's interesting to think about how those things go hand in hand, and I remember filming, a lot of that stuff
Yeah.
and trying to film it in the previs that you had in your head so you
Mhm.
didn't have to do so much on the back
Yeah.
end.
Yeah, for
So,
sure.
so you're like, okay, you guys, like, I need to get a high five. So, like, pretend like you just landed the trick that we filmed a second ago, but now you guys like high five after it.
Right, right,
Like,
exactly, exactly. And sometimes, yeah, I mean, I try to get as much of that organically as it would happen. I mean, again, it comes back to that emotion, right?
yeah,
That feeling you're chasing. So when that guy has been working on that thing for, a few hours, or this is our 4th trip back because we keep getting kicked out by security, but he
yeah.
pulls it. It happens organically. Like, you just gotta make sure you're not don't stop rolling.
Yeah, never stop
If
rolling.
he landed that damn thing, you better follow him, follow when he comes up to the homies, follow if security comes out,
Keep rolling.
there's a great reaction that's gonna, "I don't even kick me out, I already got it." Like,
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. And so, yeah, making sure you're kind of constantly rolling and not being worried about failing. You don't know how to film when you pick up a camera, right? Like,
oh
you don't
yeah,
know settings, you don't know, and it's okay. What's great is skating, it does take a lot of trial and error. So it's also trial and error for the filmer. Like, "Oh, okay, this angle actually isn't working. Let me try it over here
hmm,
on the next attempt. Let me try," and next thing you know, you're walking away with 4 or 5 angles, and you don't you pick the one, if you don't have 2 cameras filming the big finale of them actually landing it, but you've got B-roll of them rolling up, them frustrated slamming their board after they tried it, so you got opening B-roll leading up, you're building up that climax,
yeah,
so you show the frustration, and it's all written in that narrative. You can tell a story with almost every trick that they try because you documented the journey of trying to get that trick.
yeah.
And so, and how you piece it together in post is how you can really convey that. And that's where the score, the music comes in to play, is you're doing that during a dip of a song right before it crescendos again, and, like, making sure you ramp that back up for that build. And that build is right when they land it, and
Yeah.
then there's the falling act, so it's just it's that story arc that you can kind of tell these little stories within.
Yeah, it's so cool that all these things are wrapped up in skateboarding, especially, I mean, even the design element that you mentioned. Like, I just love that in skateboarding is attached to so many things like filmmaking, design, art, music. All of this stuff is wrapped up in that, I don't want to say industry, in that culture,
Mhm,
you know?
mhm.
And it really is a culture of, like, narrative, perseverance, emotional journey, all of these things that kind of translate from it. So when you think about your career now, because now commercial filmmaker working in sports
Mhm.
at the Dallas Mavericks, when you think about how skateboarding gave you all those things when you were young, how do they translate now working in sports and working in filmmaking?
I mean, it was an easy translation, right? When you just kind of figure out the parallels and where to kind of align with what you're kind of used to,
Mhm.
again, with what skating ingrained in me. Funny story, even how I got the job with the Mavs was my buddy that I grew up skating with, he let me know that the editor was leaving at the Mavs, and I was freelancing at Real Effects at the time and a couple other commercial spots
Mhm.
around town, but said Real Effects specifically because it was 1 block away from the Mavs.
Okay.
So I ran over on my lunch break and interviewed with the manager and then, like, ran back to work because it was just 1 block away, but I went all out for it. I created 7 original videos just for the interview. I hand illustrated a few things, I did some motion graphics things, and then ultimately, yeah, I put it to some Nas track that, I would skate to or and then, edited the footage. That's a lot of baskets, that's a lot of options, it's a lot of angles, it's a lot of reacts, a lot of crowd reacts. And yeah, I've been with the Mavs. It's my 13th season, so, when I first started, it was just me and one other guy.
Mhm.
I was the main editor, and now we've evolved. We have 10 plus editors now,
Okay, wow.
which is great, and,
That is great because that mean obviously you get to do probably some supervising, you get to offset some of the work.
Yeah,
So it's not
yeah.
you and a buddy just doing everything.
Right, yeah, you're not spread so thin. You can take your time with the edits.
Yeah, so now you get to really work in that finesse piece.
Mhm, yeah, yeah, and the early when again, the early days of me starting there, it was a little bit more guerrilla, which is fine 'cause I was used to that with skating,
Yeah,
that fast pace, but this social media era of just always have to have something up.
right.
It's exhausting, but that's what warrants 10 editors, because then all of a sudden you can meet that demand, and so I'm mainly in game now, which I enjoy. I like to say that we put on a party for, like, 20,000 people, 80 or 41 times a year,
Uh-huh.
just making sure the videos are locked in and intense and fun. So, just like movies, right? You can be light and comedic on the front end and
Mhm.
a little bit more family friendly on the front end first half of basketball, but then on the second half, it's time to lock in and ramp up, so we gotta make sure we have some intense videos for that and hype's ready. And I like to say my boss, he's the VP of game pres. I always just like to say I like to just provide him with the ammunition so he can fire off how he needs to fire off. So
Mhm.
he's got 30-second hypes, he's got 10-second hypes, he's got just noise prompts, he's got motion graphic meters that tell fans to get hype. I mean, he's like the composer with, and then the audience is like his instrument, and we can kind of mold them and ramp them up to get the players hyped on the court, or to be really loud against the defense, when we're on defense,
Mm.
and the offensive team, the visitors can't hear the play calls because the crowd is so loud, and so we get to kinda orchestrate that, which is really, really fun.
This gets into filmmaking being an energy exchange
Yeah.
that is experiential in some way, especially for the in-game content. And when you say in-game content, just to clarify for the audience, that means what you're seeing on the monitors, what you're experiencing in the arena during the game.
Yeah, exactly. So everything on the center hung, jumbotron, whatever you wanna call it, everything that's playing up there, but also, like, the LED ribbons that wrap the whole building
Mhm.
and all the boards that are kind of facing towards the audience. What's really unique and fun that I've, fallen in love with is I love those boards. I've never made content for your peripheral,
Yeah.
and where you have something that you're supposed to look at, the main board, but then complementary, like you're messing with heads over there, whether it's the pulse of a strobe, but you're not strobing at what they're looking at, but you can kinda create that energy, or there's fire for warmth on the right and left side, and you're looking at them, or you can look at them. there's nothing wrong with it, but your attention is supposed to be the main board, right?
Right.
And you can really even tell a story among the 3
Like, on that stack.
on that stack. You can have a ball roll along the top and then fall to the middle and then fall to the lower, and people can follow it as it's doing that,
Hmm.
but really it can be a peripheral thing that's happening. It's just complementing something on there. Like one I wanna make, and we've got Klay Thompson. He's a big shooter, 3-point, half the Splash Brothers, and what he did in Golden State is still, you know, incredible Hall of Famer.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've just got a concept of, like, I wanna do, like, these flaming basketballs falling from the top ring, but then splashing into water. He's a big boat guy on the middle ring, and it'll have his name, Clay, like, floating right there.
Yeah.
But then the balls, they're extinguishing, and then they're bobbing underwater, and how those physics of it coming, but so that'll happen on the lower
The
ring.
bottom ring, okay.
So it's like, but, like, the whole thing is a whole image, but each one is unique and different, and it's not the same thing stamped across all of them. You can tell a story on the stack, and so, yeah,
Fun is that?
just getting outside the box a little bit and not being scared to take those leaps, and because you're gonna bust your ass, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally fine,
Even in
like,
front of 20,000 people.
it's okay, and that's the thing. The my boss and I have a relationship that we talk about that, like,
Mhm.
"Let's run it. Let's see if the fans yell. If they don't, that's okay. How do we tweak it? We tried. Who cares?" Like,
Mhm.
you can play a video, and that's the good thing. Again, we're making content that, 'cause the game is the product, we need to get back to it as soon as possible. So we're typically only making, 30-second to a minute and a half pieces.
Mhm.
It ran. Did the audience, did it work? Maybe. Did we play it in the wrong time? Maybe. Let's
Mhm.
try it again. Did it work? No. All right, we tried. Like, on to the next. Did something work from it? Again, do I need to tweak my
Right.
feet a little bit, right? Like,
Yeah.
do I need to adjust? Because we were close. The product, the concept is, it works. Execution might have fallen a little short. Okay, let's adjust. Who cares? Like, let's try it. And I think just having that willingness to just keep going, fail forward.
It speaks to resilience
Mhm,
in a way, which I think is also something that's born out of skateboarding where you're gonna get, like you're gonna fail, but you're also gonna get banged up, and it's gonna happen in front of a lot of people,
mhm,
usually,
mhm.
right? Because you got your buddies there.
Yeah,
The expectations are high.
mhm,
You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself,
yeah,
which kinda goes parallel to that, like, you're putting something up in an arena, man, there's 20,000 people looking at this thing,
yeah, yeah,
and you're also entertaining all of these fans while the game is not going on.
yeah,
You know,
right,
so all those guys are on the sideline right
yeah,
now working out the next kinda strategy,
mhm,
and you're having to keep the
yeah,
attention
right.
and keep the energy up.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's a lot of responsibility, so I love that you and your, team have that kinda skating mentality,
mhm,
which is like, when you fail, if you put something up, it's not like it's never a complete failure, right? Maybe it just
right.
didn't work like you wanted it
Sure,
to.
sure, yeah, yeah,
And you bounce back from it.
yeah,
And I love that resilience piece because it almost speaks to like a stoic philosophy of a kind, right?
mhm,
It almost speaks to this my reaction to how the thing is perceived or my reaction to getting my ass kicked out there on the concrete on a
mhm,
skateboard
mhm.
is really what will define my next move.
Yeah,
So how do I react to it? Not focus on what happened to me, but instead,
mhm,
how am I gonna react to it in this moment?
yeah.
So I think that's so cool that like, yeah, skateboarding kinda teaches that.
Yeah, I thrive off competition, and I look at other sports teams, I look at skateboarding videos, I look at full features, cinematic features and stuff like that, and I'm like, "Man, they're just dudes on the other end of that camera also. How did they get that shot? How did they get that motion graphic, like After Effects comp or whatever?" And so, it really has kind of helped me kind of fight
Mhm,
and grow, and picking yourself back up, keep trying, keep progressing, because that's the main thing.
mhm.
It's not getting to a finish line. It's just constantly growing and being better, being a better person or being better at something every day when you started the day. Did you end the day with something that you progressed at? And so that's kind of, you know, that's
Yeah.
kind of what's getting engraved as well. So
Yeah. Mastering the middle and
yeah, yeah,
'cause I feel like that gives you consistency and then the chance at this incremental growth, and then you feel those big lifts every once in a while in your growth, which I think I is important just in life in general,
yeah.
like, no matter what you're doing, right? No
Mhm,
matter what your outlet is, your job,
mhm.
your personal relationships. I mean, you can express that in all of those aspects of life. Let's run through your creative process.
Oh, okay.
So, cause you're talking about all these cool ideas, like having to do the 3 bands in the arena,
Yeah,
the sizzle videos in the middle,
yeah,
you know, so working in filmmaking in sports, so much of it is about hype, so much of it is about, you know, very short form, but still narratively driven. You know, there's a lot of player profile videos I'm sure you guys make.
mhm,
So let's say you get tasked with the upcoming season, right? What are we gonna make? What kind of stuff are we gonna do? How are we gonna keep the energy up in the arena? What's your starting place,
mhm.
and how do you get to the finishing point of now you're standing in the stadium and there you are, you're seeing your final piece. So,
Yeah,
what does your creative process look like?
yeah, we started my boss kind of has a meeting that we do in the off season. Keep it, tweak it, trash it is what we call it, and we assess the uh, the show
Mhm.
and does this make sense? Is this guy still on the team? Like, do we need to revisit? Is it worth? Is the juice worth the squeeze on re-editing with another guy in mind? So that's stage one, like,
Right.
at least there. Um, and then because you just sometimes organically don't know what's going to hit you as far as inspiration throughout the season. Some trend might happen, some might come out that sparks some kind of huge thing, or some song that was gonna kill in the arena. My boss does this really well because again, he's the one that calls the games. He's the one that's calling for this video or calling and timing and stuff like that.
Sure.
And he does this really great thing this season, where he turns everything off and there's this hum of the song coming in, and he hits the court with lasers and it outlines our logo at center court. So the only light in the arena besides, like, safety lights and exit lights and stuff, but
Sure.
everything is off except for these lasers hitting the court while this tension is being built and the crowd swells. Like, you can feel it. They're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then the video starts, intro starts, boom, it starts coming in, highlight, player, yell, fire. We have pyro off our backboard that just, and I mean, talk about an added moment. We're talking about getting outside the video, and you have elements that you can mess with that people can feel
The
through
actual
the
heat. Yeah.
actual heat off something. So that's creative process comes from just being a sponge. But I usually start with the music. And like I said, I'm already rough cutting in my head,
Uh-huh.
organically just as I'm driving around. So
And when you say rough cutting, you're seeing game footage in your head.
mhm,
So, like,
yeah.
big plays that maybe you recently saw,
Mhm.
you know the player, you've got that stuff mapped,
Yeah, mapped, making sure you're aware of what angles you have.
which I would imagine in a game, a choice of almost any angle.
Yeah, we even have a new one, this year called the keyhole camera, and it's, like, literally, like, almost in the wood of the baseline right below the basket. So, like, when I say I have that shot of, Cooper Flag yelling over the guy,
You have the keyhole
I
angle?
have the keyhole angle where the guy's laying right there, and Cooper's just yelling, and
So
it's
is the guy just, like, in foreground?
like,
You you just
he's kinda off, like, right, like, he's over on the right, but he's down on the ground.
How funny.
And so, but then, yeah, you have from the broadcast angle, what you saw on television too. And then we have our team,
Right,
which
people actually roaming inside of the arena.
yeah, we've got some cinematic cameras sitting baseline. and then we're game pres. There's 4 of us. There's 3 editors. We've got a main shooter, a guy, uh, one of the guys on our team, he understands the arena
Mm,
like the back of his hand,
okay.
so he understands the pixel depth of certain boards and what looks better on that, and he's the one that like, when I finish a video, I hand it to him because he's gonna go load it, or I upload it to a server that he can pull down at the arena, get it loaded, and then he's got it mapped to this time of the game, we're gonna play this video, and it's all scripted out and stuff like that. And then we have a 3D animator as well, and so we kind of work well with that. Like last year's intro was absolutely incredible. We did kind of an Inception Christopher Nolan thing,
Mhm.
but we were bending Dallas on top of each other, and all of a sudden the the green Bank of America building is sideways next to Reunion Tower, and like it was really cool. But he did all that. He built from nothing, from scratch, a 3D model of downtown,
Okay.
and then you could start manipulating it and stuff like that. So it really, really added a lot to those color shot, those B-roll shots that you kind of insert again, to create that mental breather of dunk, 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 yell, yell, yell.
Yeah,
You
sure.
gotta breathe. Your mind has to breathe for a second. So
But it
yeah.
sounds like you guys are kinda pushing the envelope, so almost anything is possible on the Dallas Mavs team, like, content team, so, like, you guys can pretty much do anything is what it sounds like.
Try a lot, and that's what's great is they've really I think this was ingrained in, Mark Cuban being the owner. He was kinda just down to try things,
Hmm.
and he'll let you know if it didn't work.
Yeah.
Well, there's an email that comes through or a text message, so it was, but it was okay. Like, you didn't lose your job because of the video, so you don't.
He's not rolling heads because of something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and that kind of aligns ultimately, like, with skating. If you're scared you're gonna fall, you're gonna fall. And so, if you're scared to make a video, it's probably gonna suck because you're not making it, you're making it out of a fear mentality. You're scared,
Right.
and then you're gonna overthink things, but when you're let off the leash a little bit and you can just go for it, and, you show it to the team. It's not like there aren't eyes on it before it hits the center hung, but or that they're showing it to me, and we have feedback sessions,
Yeah.
and we really kind of, we get it to a spot that we think is gonna hit the crowd the best. Again, 13 seasons of this, I kinda know what we need to hit, when, where, and the rhythm of it, and so there's a lot of creative freedom, and I think that's why, um, I like the Mavs as a brand and as a company. The autonomy that we have at the Mavs, and have earned it, right? Again, the tenure there,
Yeah.
I think people understand that, I've earned that trust with certain leadership, that they don't need to check in. They know that is good to go. What we do in game for the fans is good to go. That department is
Mhm.
polished right now, and I'm very proud to say that we are. Like, we've got a squad that understands every aspect.
One thing, you made me think of that I think is really interesting, skateboarding okay, skateboarding is a solo sport
Yeah. Mhm.
because you are battling yourself,
Yeah.
and you're battling yourself internally, even though you're competing,
Yeah.
obviously, against other skaters sometimes if we're talking about, like,
Yeah. Contests and
competition
stuff.
and
Yeah.
and and pro competition, stuff like
Sure.
that. Basketball, team sport,
Yeah. Yeah.
and when I think about a basketball team, I think traditionally we are thinking about just the players on the court. But I think what's really interesting is hearing how much a part of that team you guys are, how much a part of that team everyone who works in that arena really is, because the entire experience
Mhm.
and the energy exchange that happens in the room from fans to players, from players to fans, how much that's being orchestrated by your team
Mhm.
and everyone else that is a part of that experience,
Mhm.
all the way down to how clean the floor is. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's like that team aspect. I'm just curious, going from skateboarding into full collaboration where you're not only collaborating on your video team,
Mhm.
but you're a part of this basketball team
Yeah.
in a big way.
Mhm.
How does that feel now? And reflecting on that team aspect, like how does the creative process work that way?
Being able to, drive yourself that contributes to the whole is, like, is the main thing, right? Like, I think just having that vision that where your piece fits in the puzzle
Mhm.
and making sure the puzzle isn't complete without your piece, or if there's pieces missing, it feels like an incomplete puzzle. I've always felt that way with editing anyway, right? Like that editing is like putting a puzzle together. You have all your pieces when you start out, all your raw footage or whatever,
Mhm.
and how you construct it is putting the puzzle together. So it's kind of thinking about the edit, but on a larger scale of having all the pieces at least ready because you're putting the puzzle together live. You don't know what that game is going how it's going to turn out, but you got to make sure you have all the pieces that are ready, that if the puzzle starts shifting towards this, you can plug this piece in
Sure.
here
Yeah.
that hits, and then it completes that part. And so, but yeah, my boss has a theory that he believes that what we do on our end can sway the point scale 9 points in either direction. And so how we kind of orchestrate and get the fans to react can pull something out of our players.
It's like the energy exchange from how you hype an audience that translates then kind of goes into the players, and the players score big, which then sort of kind of cycles back through the audience, which then informs what you guys do during the game
Mhm.
for content next time.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
it's like it really is this thing that sort of kind of loops back onto itself and then creates this really positive feedback that I feel like I could
Yeah.
see how that energy could impact the players. That's cool. You're that puzzle piece that fits into your team, and then your team on the content side or game pres side
Mhm.
is, that puzzle piece that fits into the game itself.
Yeah.
And then you just keep building that puzzle, and then as it expands, it's just like more and more. The fans are a piece of that
Yeah.
puzzle, the players are a piece of that puzzle. That's
And
pretty cool.
I mean, you could even go one step further that the Mavs are just a puzzle piece to the NBA, and it's ultimately 30 teams.
Mhm.
And there is this camaraderie amongst other teams. We share a lot. We're all in the same boat, just in different markets.
Yeah, sure.
Milwaukee Bucks are trying to figure out how to get their fans in their arena hype just like we are. So there's 29 other teams. There's 29 other me out there that are trying to figure out with the same objective, the same goal, with that job or a team that has that job to bring that emotion out in people. And
Somebody else trying to kickflip, and they just need to figure out their style.
exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
And so,
I love that. It's so cool. Well, I mean, I'll just say thanks for coming on the show and sharing your story and your journey with skateboarding and how skateboarding was the beginning of that creative journey and sort of taught you all of those aspects that translated to commercial filmmaking, now sports
mhm.
filmmaking and editing. That's just a cool journey you've been on and are continuing on.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks, man. Thanks for having me again. It's fun, and like I said, I could talk about this for hours because it's who I am. So, yeah, man, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, thanks for
Awesome,
coming on.
cool.
Our executive producers are myself and Jessica Kramer. Our producer is Giselle Saucedo. Our editor is Max Smith. Music by Creators. I'm your host, Roger Peters. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.